Yo, 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 welcome back to Coach Stokes' Champion Creed. We're here where we explore the mindset and methods behind champions in the world of boxing. In today's electrifying episode, we have the privilege of digging deep into the world of Coach Kelvin Moore. Hailing from Ashburn, Virginia, at age 63 years young, Coach Moore's journey began as a United States Marine, where he laid down the foundation for a remarkable career spanning for over 20 years in the fitness world. His expertise has transcended borders, earning international acclaim for his work with athletes in over 30 countries, including collaborations with notable names like Usher, Gary Russell Jr., Shannon Briggs, Marcus Camby, and many, many more. Now based in Ashburn, Virginia, Coach Moore uh, continues to inspire and transform athletes' mindsets through an unparalleled dedication and innovative approach in training. Get ready to be inspired as we uncover the secrets behind Coach Moore's extraordinary success. Coach, my big brother, how you doing?
Man, first of all, let me just say I'm just honored and appreciative to be on your podcast and your show, man. You somebody who I hold in high esteem, and I'm just grateful.
Brother, I really appreciate that. And I'm so sorry, but I forgot he goes by the alias and known by most athletes as the band master. This is the greatest band coach in the world. You'll know exactly after this podcast. Coach, let's jump right into it. First question for you is, what are your core principles? What core principles, I should say, do you believe separate champions from contenders in the world of boxing?
In the sport of boxing, mindset, aggression, mental toughness, intellect, the ability to learn the sport not just from a physical perspective, but from an intellectual perspective.
Yes.
And that dog, and that's dog spelled D-A-W-G. The other dog is the D-O-G. It's a difference. There's people calling themselves dogs, but you see a dog, you know it right off the rip.
Oh, so let me ask you this. Does that what you just told me on what you just said, is that how you separate yourself when it comes to working with an athlete? Must those athletes have those categories when it comes to those certain things? They must have a dog inside of them. They must have that aggression. They must have that intellect. Are those certain types of things that you're looking for before you work with an athlete? Because you can have certain athletes, like you said, a lot of them, say they love using the word, I'm a dog, I'm this, I'm that. But then when you work with them, I've seen you work with cats, man, on videos, and they think they want that work, and like 5 minutes into it, they falling straight off. I'm not even gonna say no names, but there's many of that've tried that.
Well, for me, little brother, first of all, I never played a sport. So most of what I do through the interactions is through the science of understanding how the body works, both physiologically, functionally, etc. And again, it's a lot of guys saying that they're a dog, etc. There's one thing I always tell people: you can't teach aggression. The first time somebody's telling you that they can teach aggression, you should tell them, I'm going in my car to get something. I'll be right back, and never go back. Nobody can teach aggression. That's a powerful, powerful tool. That's a mindset that, again, through circumstances, through conditions, and through other things that a lot of people have gone through, and the ability to know how to step up to that next level. But all in all, when you talk about boxers and what I do, it's really the science behind working them out, especially with the band, from the isometric dynamic and the time under tension type of thing, that the science behind it makes them a better athlete, or will enhance their athleticism, and particularly what they do. Because remember, I don't just work with boxers. I work with athletes in a variety of sports. But the boxers, I bring something different. As a matter of fact, I've seen a lot of the trainers out here. They DM me, inbox me, hey, where'd you get that piece of equipment? And I try to tell people, it's not the drill, it's the dream. And we don't exercise, we execute. It's something that's totally different from, it's like me watching, I'll say this lastly, it's like me watching videos of LeBron, and then all of a sudden I think I can be LeBron. It doesn't work that way.
Let me ask you this, Coach. Let's take a step back, because I should have asked you this from a rip, though. How did you get into the world of fitness? And how did you start working with these fighters and these many different athletes?
Um, 46 years ago, in the Marine Corps, I had, and you being a Marine brother as well, I had the garbage detail, fooling around with another Marine, jumped off the dumpster and had a hairline fracture in my ankle. When I went to rehab, they kept having me come in and doing different functional drills, etc., with bands. And so what I did was I just started using the bands when I did my workout, and lo and behold, little by little, I began to understand, the function, understand the motion, understand the movement, but predicated on the different exercises I was doing, and even being just creative on my own. And that's how I got into doing bands with athletes. I tell people all the time, I didn't create band resistance training. It's just what I do with the band.
Yes, yes. I noticed in many of your videos, you inspire your athletes, even when they feel like they can't even go on. Maybe that's what you learned in the Marine Corps, because in the Marine Corps, the way that they inspire is totally different. But they make sure you get through it, and you make sure that they get through every freaking exercise. How do you inspire or cultivate a winning mindset in your athletes?
First of all, helping them to understand that here it is, and it might be different, that failure is an option. And people, I'm talking about the training part. I'm not talking about when you get into the competitive side of it, even though we sometimes fail. But
Yes.
During the workout, and then what I do is, again, the mother of learning is repetition.
Yes, sir.
I don't do a drill with somebody and then, okay, they're not good at that. Let's move on to something else. It's like being in the second grade and the kid has a desire to be in the fourth grade, doesn't have the mindset to be able to do what he needs to do academically, but you pass them anyway. There's been times I've come in the gym and done training, and it's been 1 hour or 1 hour period. I've done the same drill for 20 minutes. Because remember, amateurs do it until they get it right. Elite athletes do it until they'll never get it wrong. So it's a difference.
It is a major difference. So let me ask you this. Can you give us a defining moment in your coaching career that shaped your approach when it came to training?
In boxing or just in general?
In general.
In general. Well, it's a few of them, but I
well, you know what, Coach, I'm sorry. Put it in boxing, because you work with so many different athletes. Boxing.
Believe it or not, is when I got a chance to finally and first time meet Danny Garcia. And he actually, shout out to the dude, man. I mean, and I know boxers, and I've actually, again, I work with the Russells, been with them for years, but Danny Garcia went up to Philly. I was actually working in a couple of gyms up there, Schuler's gym, Johan's, etc. And then next thing you know, I went over to Danny's gym. They introduced me, etc. And we talked about helping kids in the community. First time I met him, didn't even hesitate. Him and his dad, obviously being Puerto Rican. I told him that Hartford has the second largest Hispanic population in the country. Well, we want to go to a couple of schools. Danny Garcia turned around, got a limo, got his dad, his two sisters, and a team. And then my team and I, we organized, when they got up there, we had them speak at several schools. We had them meet the mayor. We made a Danny Garcia day for that particular day. And this is not even knowing the guy. Then I got to do some band work with him at my gym at that time in Connecticut. And stand-up dude, man. Shout out to him. I saw when he had the opportunity to talk about and announce when he was going through the stuff regarding mental health. And, I'm always just sending him a message of hope, etc. But one of the defining moments for me, to see an athlete of his caliber and his status. When I talked about kids, without hesitation, he just dropped everything he was doing and came to Hartford, and the rest was not just history, but his story.
Shout out to DSG, Danny Swift Garcia, for doing that. Definitely, we need more role models to mentor to these youth, to these young men and women out here, because they need it. I've heard nothing but great things about Danny Garcia. You know, on top of your story, Coach. What role does mental toughness play a part when it comes to achieving that championship mindset?
It's a different, and sometimes it's a difficult role. I'll just start with this. One of my kids, 13 years old, struggling with depression and anxiety, hung herself. And that was one of the things that got me even that much more focused when it came to the mental health side. I retired 21 years ago. I was a supervisor in a juvenile prison, and then I ended up being a case manager in an adult prison. So you saw guys, every single day struggling in one capacity or another. And mental health issues are real. We're scared. People mention it now, and all of a sudden, woo, they think mental health is equivalent to crazy. But there's just a lot of tentacles that go with having mental health. Think about the fact, and because not only were you a very good athlete, and now you're an awesome trainer in the world of boxing, you're getting hit in your head constantly and consistently. That in and of itself, then the rigors and the rigorous training that takes place. And so a lot of these boxers and athletes, I sit down and I have counsel and conversation with them. One of the last was Jamie Ortiz. He came down from Massachusetts to train with me a little while. Then he went off and got with his other trainers right before the Teofimo Lopez fight. He's another one. That's a phenomenal story. He's a great dude, etc. But that mental health side, man, it's real, and it's amongst not just boxers, but athletes across the board. And we need to really pay close attention to it, especially like your son, these younger athletes who, again, they're under a lot of duress and stress to compete.
It is. And I remember, like, from back during my time and even during your time, if you even mentioned mental health, people would say, like, there was something wrong with you, or, like, oh, you know what? Come on, man, suck it up, But today, it really, I like the fact that they're paying more attention to it, because, like you said, it really is bothering a lot of people out there. Coach, your bands, the things that you do is very, very unique, and I would definitely say a lot of people try to imitate it, but they come nowhere near close to it. How do you adapt your training techniques to suit the unique needs of your individual athletes?
Well, it initially starts, little brother, with a consultation. Okay. So it takes me 3 to 5 minutes to see where you are when it comes to mechanics, dynamics, your ability to be functional, your mobility, your dexterity, your flexibility. Those are the types of things I try to tell a lot of these younger athletes, aside from boxing right now, but in boxing as well. One of the biggest differences for kids transitioning from high school to college is how they move. Yeah. And so you got to turn around. You hear this all the time. Announcers talking about, well, he's slow of foot, and he doesn't move very well, etc. So those are the types of things that I do agility wise, especially when it comes to the bands. And as you said, again, once I understand where your weakness is, we'll dig in and we'll dive in and make you a lot better at that. But movement is critical. If I had a list of athletes and what they need to do other than the dog and the mindset, I'd have to put flexibility, dexterity, mobility, well, quite honestly, movement in that top three to five.
Okay. As far as balancing physical training and mental conditioning, is there a certain thing that you normally do, when it comes to that? Because, like I tell you, I've seen individuals and they make it, because everybody that you work with, they are DAWG. They're straight dogs. How do you get them to that point, Coach?
Well, again, here's the biggest thing that I tell people all the time. Well, is believing in themselves first and foremost. You got a lot of athletes out here. Somebody told them they were good, etc. And that's where, again, you look at the essence of truth nowadays. From top to bottom, nobody's really telling people, nobody's speaking the truth, but nobody wants to tell you the truth. And then when you sometimes tell the truth, people tell you, no, man, keep it real with me until you say something they don't like. But, the mental side of it, again, this is why I've ran rehab programs. I've worked with ex-felons, blah, 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 athletes who were trying to get back into sports. Many of them, even on the NBA, NFL level, they'll tell you, this is my last time around. And most of the time when I sat down, and these are grown men who have played the sport for years, you find that it was very, very interesting that a lot of them just didn't believe they could do it no more. And so I give them something, as you say, again, you watch my drills, and if you really believe that I'm doing that to really just stress them on the physical side, you just don't understand training to the depth and degree that you think you do. I get them in a position where they got no other choice, where when the physical is exhausted, you got to keep that switch on. And that's the mental switch to fight through and to do it on a whole different level. So I always tell people, listen to what I'm saying, because it's a discipline. Because where motivation doesn't work, discipline does.
Got you. You've had the opportunity to work with many great people, a lot of famous people. I know you work with Usher in the movie, the Roberto Duran movie, when he played Sugar Ray Leonard. How was it working with Usher?
It was one of those things. It was just a God-given opportunity. I was actually down there getting ready to train with my guy, and he had a fighter he wanted me to work with. So they flew me down to Atlanta, and then oh my God, please not let me not remember his Xabier Briggs. Yeah. Terrell Briggs, trainer, mentor, yes, brother, et cetera, et cetera. So I was at their gym, and there was a trainer there, and we was just talking, just happened to be having a conversation. He was like, yeah, I like this, resistance level training. And I said, oh, okay. I said, well, I do stuff with bands. And he was like, really? And then the next thing you know, to fast forward the story, he said, well, take me through a workout. Took him through a workout that was supposed to be 2 minutes, and he did about 30 seconds. But at the end of the day, he said, listen, I need for you to work with my man. He'll be here in a minute. I work with Usher. You know me, I'm just sitting around, little brother. I'm saying, okay, because everybody got nicknames, Snoop, they'll call it this, that, and the other.
Right,
and next
right.
thing Usher walks in the door, and my man, at first, the approach was a little tough because, I was digging in, because that's one thing about it. When I go into these athletes' territory, no matter how famous they are, who they are, what level they on, I'm going to give them the Paris Island Marine Corps 101. This is what this is. And right. I did that, and he kind of got over that. I got a lot of the videos when I was training with the bands, et cetera. But at the end, man, it was what a phenomenal dude. What a nice guy. We exchanged numbers, blah, 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 blah. But what a phenomenal dude. And it was a great opportunity to work with him. So when I saw him at the Super Bowl, I wanted to shoot him a text and say, if you got a few minutes, man, stop in Virginia, let me tune you up.
Has he been there yet?
No. He's busy, man. He's doing his thing. Great guy, though. Yeah, great guy.
Definitely. Coach, give me one success story of an athlete that you've coached, that you've worked with.
Professional, amateur, high school?
You know what? Pick anyone you want.
All right. I'll take, it's quite a few, but this one I really like. So this kid that's in this area. His name is Nick Anderson. I trained him and his two sisters. One played at the University of Georgia soccer. The youngest one played at Virginia Tech soccer. He was a soccer player too, ranked 15th in the country. He played for DC United junior team. But he started liking football, so he got on the football team as a kicker, as a freshman. Then all of a sudden, he really started, buy into it, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. Fast forward, he walks on at Wake Forest his first year as a freshman. He gets 7 interceptions the first season. The team turns around and gives him a full ride. But watch this, little brother. That would have been enough in and of itself and a powerful story. But that week, Lester Holt from NBC News did a story, and the title of his story was called Inspiring America. And the
Wow.
story was about Nick. So he actually made the news where millions of people saw his phenomenal story of walking on, etc. And again, inspiring America. And here he is not right now. This is his final year, and we're just looking to train this summer before the season starts, get an agent. He'll be at the combine. And remember that name. He's going to the NFL. And not because I train him, but because he's got that type of mindset, that dog. He's the type of kid, little brother, that he'll knock himself out just to knock you out and talk about making contact. But that was just one of the many phenomenal stories. But again, the tie-in with Lester Holt being on the news, and the story was called Inspiring America. That's why I try to teach these kids. If you got to walk out, walk on, it's not going to matter. I don't train kids for scholarships. I train kids for their dream, because the scholarship comes with the dream. So all you got to do is be a dog, and the coaches will come looking for you, and you won't have to come look for them.
And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how you get there as long as you got there.
Just get there. The end of the day, people, I tell people all the time, one in particular, Worth the Redskins now Commanders, working with Junior Gillette, who came here from Haiti when he was 9, didn't even speak English. Then he turned around and had no offers out of high school, and he ended up at Temple, got in trouble, had to go to another school. Then he turned around and got himself in position, got an agent. He goes to the combine, and now he gets signed with the New Orleans Saints when Tom Breeze was there for 5 years, $58 million. And here's a kid that didn't have an offer out of high school and came to this country at 9 and didn't even know how to speak English. But he is a dog.
Truly a dog. Truly a dog. Big brother, how do you handle setbacks and failures when it comes to the pursuit of excellence?
That's a powerful and a very good question. Well, I'll start with a few things. I used to be homeless. I come from a family of 10. My dad was an alcoholic all his life. My mom, who passed 2 years ago, who again, my heart and soul, and I dedicated the gym after my mom. But I saw her go through about almost 35, 40 years of domestic abuse. All my sisters were in bad relationships, bad marriages, just because they saw the template of what my mom went through. I turned around, and a lot of people don't know this, and I ain't gonna tell too much, little brother, because my book comes out this fall, and that I've been going back and forth and procrastinating about. But here's God that took me from I tried to kill a man and almost spent 20 years in prison. What God did was turn the story around, and not only did I not do the time, but I ended up retiring from the same system that was supposed to hold me for 20 years after 20 years. And I'm telling you right now, and then if you check back after I went in the Marine Corps, because my mom signed me in at 17, my mom signed me in the Marine Corps at 17, 4 weeks left in basic training at Paris Island, the drill instructors called me in, and I thought it was for the final beatdown, but they called me in the corner and of the squad bay and told me, we're changing your MOS to Marine Barracks. And so here I am with all the stuff that has gone on in my life. I end up going to Marine Barracks, getting a first-class White House clearance, and I worked at Camp David when Jimmy Carter was the president. You can't tell me there's not a God. But then again, at the same time, man, this is one of the things why I still instill hope in these kids. Give up what? Give up for what? And that's why, and I got to throw it in here, if you don't mind, little brother, that's why now, most of the time when I'm working with a lot of these athletes and they call me out, etc., I tell them, just make a contribution to my mom's charity fund. Because through that process, I'm able to help other kids. It's not even necessarily a pay for me, but whatever they're going to pay me, and I'll get to them. And it's not about the celebritize, because resume and results matter. I have a resume. I've been blessed to in 33 different countries. It's not about that. It's about giving back and helping those kids, especially coming from the circumstances I did.
We appreciate you, big brother. I thank you for sharing that powerful story right there. And I'm definitely going to be supporting you and getting a couple issues of your books. I'm going to read it. My wife going to read it, and my kids going to read it. You definitely believe that. You have any advice for any aspiring coaches who are looking to make an impact within the world of boxing?
Now, is this the boxing coach or the strength conditioning fitness trainer?
It could be any. It could be a boxing coach, strength conditioning under that
Okay.
umbrella of boxing.
Okay. I've been around a lot of phenomenal, when I was going down to Philly, phenomenal trainers who have set the stage and made their mark in the business. And one in particular, God rest his soul, Gary Russell Jr., Sr., Gary Russell, the Russell brothers' dad. I used to always sit at the gym after I did my part with strength and conditioning, and he would share different stories with me. And the one thing that, I mean, there's several things that he would always tell me about boxing and the game in and of itself. But I learned so much about him. And I can tell you right now, from the trainer side, going into a gym, a boxing gym, stay in your lane, stay in your lane. That would be one thing. Stay in your lane, because if you're coming in for strength and conditioning, just do that. But just keep your ear to the ground and always be willing to be a sponge to listen. Because I learned so much about boxing that helped me to be able to create drills for the boxer themselves. And as far as the strength and conditioning part, you know me, and we don't want to make this a Cat Williams show. But
No,
at the end
please,
of the
please.
day,
We might.
yeah,
I need viewers like that.
yeah. But man, you know, I'm 63, and the Lord has blessed me. I've been in the game. Start with the copycat cut and paste. I know a lot of these dudes out here that's uh, working with a lot of high profile boxers, and they sneak and snitch and snatch and et cetera. And I don't know anything about going into names, but be more creative when it comes to the fighter. Earn your due and allow them to know that, watch this, you're not just connected for the coin, but you're connected for the compassion for the fighter himself. And always, like I do be able to create and do something different, because the simple difference between weight training and resistance training is time under tension. But because you call it the sweet science, learn the science of it and be better for the fighter to represent and reflect who the fighter is. And stop just thinking it's a drill or it's a piece of equipment. Because what I tell people all the time, I don't use equipment. I make you the equipment. And you got to kind of think, let that process itself for a little while. But for trainers, and walk in the gym, do your thing. Don't be intimidated, because I don't care what level the fighter is. I done been around a lot of them, man. The Russells, blah 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 blah. Okay, I got it. But be more vested in the fighter to make sure that you're giving them their best, because at the end of the day, it's resume and results that matter.
Resume and result. How important is teamwork and camaraderie when it comes to achieving high level of success? When it comes to achieving championship success, that is.
Oh, it's critical, because again, that all goes back to mindset. You got to believe you're able to achieve it. I'll give you another simple thing, and it's a part of my book / testimony. I'm clean now, 30 some odd years from drugs. I used to speedball, heroin, cocaine, mixing, sniffing. Nobody really knew I was getting high behind the scenes, but a lot of it was camouflaging the hurt and the abuse that I was dealing with at home, because my dad was an alcoholic.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, my good brother, it's the mental part of it. And it's allowing yourself to continuously grow and develop to be the best that you can be in the business. I tell people all the time, because there's a very thin line between arrogance and confidence, that they can say whatever they want about, coach is arrogant because he's always talking about he's the best. Read my resume. But at the end of the day, I let them talk, because remember, letting them talk about you is really free advertisement. So just let them talk.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And if they aren't talking, you ain't doing it right then.
That's what I would say. That's what I've heard.
Yeah. What innovations and advancements within band work that you see in the future is going to be shaping the future of boxing training?
Big time. I'll give you one example. You look at Tom Brady. When everybody was looking at his age, et cetera, et cetera. Go to Tom Brady's site and website and look at what he's doing with band resistance training. Remember, when he got to Tampa Bay, he had a lot of those guys transition from all that compound movements and heavy weights, etc., to go and start doing more resistance with the band. That doesn't mean eliminate the weights, because you need that level of muscle strength. But then for functional movement, mobility, and stuff like that, the bands is again, I tell people I didn't create band resistance training. It's just what I do with it. It's going to be the way to go, saving joints, tendons, ligaments, because again, no athlete performs at 100% ever anyway, because there's always some nick or ding or whatever the case may be. But you want to put your athlete in that ring, in that circle, on that field, in the best possible shape you can.
So let me ask you this: How do you? I know you're always thinking, because you never sleep when it comes to this, when it comes to your bands. But how do you continuously foster or improve your training when it comes to your band work? Because I know you're always stepping one step ahead, because like you said, you're doing this today, somebody else is going to try to take it. So you're always improving on it.
It's obviously also predicated on the athlete and what sport, but I'm always just trying to be out of the box,
Yes.
ahead of the curve, and thinking and putting cats in a place and position where, again, a lot of the drills that I do, especially with the bands, are cognitive. You got to think. I tell you to put the bands on, move left, move right, jump, then go in a circle, etc. Just hypothetically speaking. But at the end of the day, you got to use your brain. So you're not just going to machine. You're going to go up, down, 1, 2. That's not what it's going to be. What I'm going to put you in a position to is you got to think. You're in the 12th round boxing, and my man is trying to put it on you, et cetera, et cetera. You're trying to recollect all you've learned from training camp, et cetera. The championship is on the line. You're going to need to think. It's what my man Gary Russell says all the time, Junior. It's intellect over athleticism. So I'm going to make you think, take the level of athleticism you got, but you got to think in order to apply it to that situation.
Right. And that's the difference within an elite athlete.
Absolutely. It's a lot of people out here telling you that they're elite. I've been around people, I've seen athletes. Yeah, this athlete is very elite. I spend about 3 to 5 minutes with them and find out, maybe they've given elite a different level or a different name, but most of these people are not elite. You got, there's people out here that's doing things and surviving just off skill or talent alone, and their athleticism way behind. They think they are because they're able to do and perform, but it's performative. It's not purposeful. So when you get that level of, and here's the other thing, little brother, athleticism can't be taught. Oh man, come on now. That's a different podcast and a different debate. You can enhance, but most people that are athletic, just like people that are fast, they're born that way.
Right, exactly.
It's a molecular genetic connection more than it is you training and saying, do this. It'll get enhanced, it'll get better, but no. And this is just 4 decades of working with some athletes in a variety of sports that I've seen. No. And stop throwing that word elite around like it's, like it's just it's every other athlete, and it's not.
No, it's not. It's not. Can you give us a glimpse of a pre-fight routine that you do before your athletes? Nothing big, just a pre-fight routine.
Well, I do nutrition for a lot of the athletes, but the other thing is more. I'd probably come in. Let's say at the training camp's 8 weeks. I'll come in the first 3 weeks, because the recovery from the level of intensity. And I always tell people, don't ask me, ask the athlete. There's a lot to recover from, especially in a boxing camp where you got to be pounded, when you spar and et cetera, et cetera. There's so much other stuff other than just the strength conditioning and training. So for me, I'm strategic. I see what we want to improve upon, and even something that you're doing well. I'm going to throw something in there that's different and connect the band in a different direction and make you cognitively think about what you're doing.
So how do you maintain or ensure that these athletes maintain peak performance throughout their careers?
It depends, little brother. How long some of these guys, it's one fight. Some of these, some of these athletes, they come to me for football players. That's about what's to come up. A lot of the NFL guys come to me before the OTAs, etc. I give them my insight, my advice. I always say again, ask the athlete, why did they come back? Here I am 4 decades later and been around the world, but they come back because here's the other part too, because what I do is different.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I've never seen anybody else, and especially your newest thing that I've seen. I don't know how long it's been there. I'm probably behind the curve, but that wall that you got, oh my goodness. What do you
The
call
hill,
that? The hill. What do you
that's
call that?
it's an 11-foot hill. So now instead of inclement weather stopping going outside, inclement weather stopping us from going outside, you know, we just turn around and next thing you know, we the kids is different. It's and then I haven't even finished it. I
Man,
got some band I add there, some stuff at the top, etc. So I haven't even finished it yet. But and then I got the guy coming in next week that's going to build something that's going to be really. I just have to keep it. Watch this. In order for the athlete to elevate, the trainer must constantly evolve. You can't be doing the same thing, same equipment, same routine, and it might work. Think about it. Some of these guys are champions, and they're doing some of the same stuff that they do every fight. I on my own ticket. I can give you a few of the names too. I'd love to come in your camp and just kind of give you about maybe 2 days of what I do. Just give me a little bit of money to my mom's charity, and we can call it even. And I'll use my own coin to get to you. But just to go to show you that it's something different, because if you look at the history or just look at a lot of these fighters, how they prepare, they're always doing the same thing. 8 years with the Russells. Ask them if in our training camps that we've ever consistently repeated doing the same thing. 8 years.
I believe you. I believe you. I can't wait to get my son down there and my other fighter for real. It's I can't believe. I can't wait. I can't wait. So let me ask you this, Coach. What legacy do you hope to um leave through your coaching career?
Uh, let's see. I would say for myself, man, you trying to get me to start crying on your podcast, man?
I would love it. You can go ahead, man.
Yeah,
I know it now. I know the views will be out the rip.
yeah. Because remember, you and I have sat down and broke bread and told stories of our about our moms,
Yeah, yeah.
and
Take your time.
boy, my mom, man, my world. So that's why, again, through the process of everything I do and what people share with me, donate to me, et cetera, I reverse engineered and give it back to these kids in whatever capacity possible. We just did every year through my gym, we do this Christmas in the community thing where we give out thousands of dollars of toys. This year we gave out coats to kids in need, et cetera, et cetera. And all my mom's on my mom's last week, I just told her I'm gonna do what she was like through the oxygen, my mom was in bad shape. And I just told her, I'm gonna make sure I take care of these kids. And for me, that's my life, man.
Yeah.
It don't matter. As I tell the kids this, little brother, I can cheer for you from the crowd or the clouds, which means God forbid if something happened to me, I want you to keep this legacy going with what I've taught you. Because as I tell them as well, little brother, before I'm a trainer, I'm a father and grandfather.
Yes, sir. Yes,
I
sir.
got a lot of kids that come to my training facility, sir, that don't even play sports, but it's therapeutic. So for me, It's all about mom and making sure I get these kids to where they're going.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. Got you. Got you. And then that's all you need. That's all you need. That's all you need.
Yep.
Uh,
Absolutely.
my last question for you, big brother, is this. If you could impart one piece of wisdom to aspiring champions, what would it be?
Wow. There's a few things, but one in particular. One day at a time.
One day at a time.
One day at a time. You might get in the title fight and lose. One day at a time. You may not get the title fight. One day at a time. You may turn around and an injury may come up prior to the opportunity for you to fight for a title for the first time after the blood, sweat, and tears that you put in for the work. But take it one day at a time. And you're talking to somebody who has escaped death on multiple occasions. But at the end of the day, my faith and just believing in myself through the addiction, through the homelessness, through all the above, and given opportunities to be around some of the most famous people in the world and countries all over the world. It's one day at a time.
Man, I really enjoyed this interview with you, big brother. You shared some things with me that I didn't know on some hands, but on other I have. I was going to tell you that my respect for you is undying, and I just want to tell you I love you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you when we come to the East Coast, and introduce you to my beautiful wife and my kids, and to my other fighter. So I just want to tell you thank you for joining us on today's enlightening episode of Coach Stokes' Champion Creed. We extend our deepest gratitude to Coach Kelvin Moore for sharing his invaluable insights and wisdom with us. His dedication
Yes, sir.
to his dedication to transforming athletes' mindsets is truly commendable and serves as a beacon of inspiration for all striving for greatness. As we conclude, remember to embody the champion's creed in all facets of your life and never waver in your pursuit of excellence. Until next time, always remember what makes a champion: the foods you eat, the times you sleep, the friends you keep, the knowledge you seek, and the words you speak. My name is Coach Stokes, and I'm out.
Bang.